You know that moment when your entire life changes and you don't even realize it's happening? That's what midnight on a Tuesday in September felt like for me. One knock on the door. That's all it took. Before we dive in, I'm curious. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city in the comments. I love knowing where my story reaches. And honestly, it makes me feel less alone knowing you're out there listening. My name is Carter, and I need to tell you about Elena. I had just moved into this old apartment building in the suburbs. You know the kind, brick exterior, creaky floors, neighbors you hear through the walls but never really meet. I was fresh out of college, working my first real job at a tech startup, barely making rent, living on ramen and ambition. 22 years old and convinced I had everything figured out. I didn't. The building was quiet most nights. I come home exhausted, throw something in the microwave, and fall asleep to whatever was streaming. My life was a loop. Work, sleep, repeat. I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't looking for anyone. Then came that knock. It was just past midnight. I remember because I'd been staring at my laptop screen for hours, trying to finish a project that was due the next morning. My eyes were burning. My coffee had gone cold. And then, 3 soft knocks on my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. Nobody even knew where I lived except my parents, and they definitely weren't the type to show up unannounced at midnight. I opened the door, and there she was. Elena. She was standing in the hallway wearing this silk robe, deep burgundy, the kind that caught the dim hallway light just right. Her hair was loose, falling past her shoulders. She had this presence about her, this quiet confidence that made you pay attention without her even trying. And her eyes, God, her eyes, they were tired but warm, like she'd been awake thinking about something important. "I'm so sorry to bother you this late," she said, and her voice was soft, almost apologetic. "I'm your neighbor from across the hall. I just moved in last week, and I'm trying to bake something, but I'm completely out of sugar. Do you happen to have any I could borrow?" I just stood there for a second, probably looking like an idiot. She smiled, this small, knowing smile, and I realized I hadn't said anything. "Oh, yes, sure," I stammered. "Let me check." I left her standing at the door and went to my kitchen. My hand was shaking a little, and I didn't know why. I found the sugar, poured some into a small container, and brought it back to her. "You're a lifesaver," she said, taking it from me. Our fingers brushed for just a second, and I felt this jolt, like static electricity, but warmer. "No problem," I said. "I'm Carter, by the way." "Elena." She extended her hand, and we shook. Her grip was firm, confident. "Thank you again. I promise I'll return this." "Don't worry about it," I said. She smiled again, turned, and walked back to her apartment. I stood there in my doorway longer than I should have, watching her disappear inside. That was it. That was the moment. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept thinking about her, about the way she carried herself, about that voice, about the fact that a woman like her had knocked on my door at midnight. I told myself I was being ridiculous. She was just a neighbor. She needed sugar. It didn't mean anything, but part of me knew it did. The next morning, I left for work early. When I got home that evening, there was a small package outside my door. I picked it up and found a container of sugar, more than I'd given her, and a handwritten note. "Thank you for saving my late-night baking disaster. If you ever need anything, I'm right across the hall. Elena." Her handwriting was elegant, the kind you don't see much anymore. I held that note longer than I should have, reading it over and over like it contained some hidden message. A few days passed. I'd see her occasionally in the hallway, always in passing, always with a warm smile and a quick hello. I started timing my exits just to run into her. Pathetic, I know, but I couldn't help it. Then one Saturday morning, I was carrying groceries up the stairs, struggling with too many bags because I refused to make 2 trips. I heard footsteps behind me. "Need some help?" I turned. Elena was standing there in jeans and a simple sweater, holding her own bag of groceries. "I've got it," I said, even though I clearly didn't. She laughed, this genuine, full laugh that made something in my chest tighten. Sure you do. She took 2 of my bags without asking. Come on, let's get these upstairs before you drop something. We walked up together, and she started asking me questions. Where was I from? What did I do for work? How was I liking the building? Her questions felt genuine, like she actually cared about the answers. When we got to my door, she handed me back the bags. Thanks, I said. Anytime. She paused, like she was deciding something. Hey, I'm making dinner tonight. Nothing fancy, just pasta and wine. If you're not busy, you're welcome to join me. I hate eating alone. My heart was racing. Yeah, I like that. 7 o'clock? I'll be there. She smiled and walked to her door. I stood there holding my groceries, trying to process what just happened. That evening, I must have changed my shirt 3 times. I told myself it was just dinner with a neighbor. Casual. Friendly. Nothing more. But when I knocked on her door at 7, and she opened it wearing this deep green dress that made her look like she'd stepped out of an old movie, I knew I was lying to myself. Come in, she said, stepping aside. Her apartment was nothing like mine. Where mine was bare and functional, hers was warm, candles burning, soft music playing, artwork on the walls. It felt like a home. Wine? She asked, already pouring 2 glasses of red. Please. We sat at her small dining table, and she served the pasta. It was simple, but it was perfect. We talked for hours. She told me about her life, how she'd just gone through a divorce after 20 years of marriage, how she'd moved here to start fresh, how she was rediscovering who she was outside of being someone's wife. I spent 2 decades trying to be what someone else needed, she said quietly, swirling her wine. I forgot what I needed. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just listened. What about you? She asked. What are you looking for, Carter? No one had ever asked me that before. Not like that. I don't know, I admitted. I thought I did, but now I'm not sure. She looked at me across the table, and something shifted. The air felt heavier, charged. You're young, she said softly. You have time to figure it out. You say that like you're ancient. She laughed. I'm 48, Carter. That's ancient compared to you. Age is just a number. Is it? She raised an eyebrow. Most people wouldn't agree with you. I'm not most people. She held my gaze for a long moment, and I saw something flicker in her eyes. Surprise. Maybe. Or something else. The night stretched on. We finished the bottle of wine, then opened another. We talked about everything. Books, music, dreams we'd given up on, fears we didn't like to admit. She told me about the life she'd left behind, the person she used to be, the woman she was trying to become. I feel like I'm starting over at an age when most people have it all figured out, she said. Maybe starting over is better than staying stuck. She smiled. You're wise for 22, and you're not old at all for 48. When I finally left that night, it was past 2 in the morning. I walked the 10 feet back to my apartment feeling like I traveled somewhere much farther. After that, we started spending more time together. It started innocently. Coffee in the mornings before work, quick conversations in the hallway, shared dinners a couple times a week. But slowly, something was building between us. Something neither of us wanted to name. I'd catch her looking at me sometimes, when she thought I wasn't paying attention. And I'd find myself thinking about her at work, wondering what she was doing, counting the hours until I could see her again. One evening, about a month after that first dinner, I knocked on her door with takeout from this Thai place she'd mentioned she loved. Surprise, I said when she opened the door. Her face lit up. You remembered. Of course I did. We ate on her couch this time, not at the table. We were sitting closer. The boundaries were blurring, and we both knew it. Can I ask you something? She said, setting down her food. Anything. Why do you spend so much time with me? You're young, Carter. You should be out with people your own age, not sitting here with a middle-aged divorcee. You keep bringing up age, I said. Like it matters. Doesn't it? Not to me. She looked away. People would talk. Let them. Carter. Elena. I turned to face her fully. I spend time with you because I want to. Because when I'm with you, Everything else fades away. Because you're the most interesting, beautiful, genuine person I've ever met. And if that makes me weird or whatever, I don't care. She was quiet for a long time. Then she reached out and touched my face, just her fingertips against my cheek, so gentle I almost wasn't sure it was real. "You have no idea what you're saying," she whispered. "Yes, I do. I'm not who you think I am. I'm complicated. I'm damaged. You're human," I said, "just like me." And then I kissed her. I didn't plan it. I didn't think about it. I just leaned in and kissed her, and for a second, she froze. I thought I'd made a terrible mistake. But then she kissed me back. It wasn't rushed or desperate. It was slow, deep, like we were both discovering something we'd been searching for without knowing it. Her hands moved to my hair, and mine found her waist, and everything else, every doubt, every worry, every voice telling us this was wrong, just disappeared. When we finally pulled apart, we were both breathing hard. "This is complicated," she said, her forehead resting against mine. "I know. People won't understand. I know. I don't want to hurt you. You won't." She pulled back to look at me, really look at me. "You're so young, Carter. You don't know what you're getting into. Then show me." That night changed everything. We didn't sleep together. Not then. But we crossed a line we couldn't uncross. And honestly, I didn't want to go back. The next few weeks were like living in a dream. We'd steal moments whenever we could. Early mornings before work, late nights after dinner, weekends when the world felt like it belonged only to us. She'd tell me stories about her life, her marriage, the dreams she'd given up. And I'd listen, really listen, because every word she said mattered to me. "My ex-husband used to say I was too emotional," she told me one night, "that I felt things too deeply." "That's not a flaw," I said. "He thought it was. He was an idiot." She laughed, but there was sadness in it. Maybe I just wasn't what he needed. His loss. She looked at me with those eyes, those warm, tired, beautiful eyes, and said, "How did I get so lucky to find you?" "I'm the lucky one," I said, but it wasn't all easy. There were moments when reality crept in. She'd pull away sometimes, lost in thought, and I knew she was worrying about what people would think, what it meant, whether we were making a mistake. One night, I found her sitting on her balcony, staring out at the city lights. "Talk to me," I said, sitting beside her. "I keep thinking about what happens next," she admitted. "You're going to meet someone your own age eventually. Someone who fits better into your life. I don't want someone my own age. I want you." "You say that now." "I say it because it's true." I took her hand. "Elena, I'm not some kid with a crush. I know what I feel, and I feel it every time I look at you." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of this ending. Of you waking up one day and realizing you wasted your youth on someone who's already lived half her life." "You're not a waste," I said firmly. "You're everything." She squeezed my hand, and we sat there in silence, the city humming below us. The first time we made love, it was different than anything I'd ever experienced. There was no awkwardness, no fumbling. It was like we'd known each other's bodies for years. She was confident, unashamed, fully present in a way that took my breath away. Afterward, we lay tangled together in her bed, her head on my chest, my fingers tracing patterns on her shoulder. "I never thought I'd feel this way again," she whispered. "What way?" "Alive. Desired. Like I matter. You do matter. You matter to me." She lifted her head to look at me. "Promise me something. Anything. Promise me that when this ends, because it will, you won't regret it. That you'll remember the good parts and not the hard ones." "This isn't ending," I said. "Carter." "No." I sat up, making her look at me. "I'm not promising you that because I don't believe it. I'm in this, Elena. Fully. And I'm not going anywhere." She searched my face, looking for doubt. She didn't find any. "Okay," she said finally, a small smile breaking through. "Okay." The next few months were the happiest of my life. We stopped hiding. We'd hold hands in public, go to dinners, spend weekends together like any other couple. And yes, people stared. We got looks, judgmental, curious, sometimes disgusted. But we learned not to care. One day, we were at a farmer's market, and this older woman came up to us. "Shame on you," she said, looking at Elena. "Cradle robbing. That boy is young enough to be your son." I felt Elena stiffen beside me, saw the color drain from her face. Before she could say anything, I stepped forward. "With all due respect, ma'am, you don't know us. You don't know our story. And honestly, it's none of your business." The woman huffed and walked away. Elena looked at me shocked. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. I'm tired of people acting like what we have is wrong. It's not. It's real. And it's ours." She pulled me into a hug right there in the middle of the market, and I felt her shoulders shake. She was crying. "I love you," she whispered into my shoulder. It was the first time either of us had said it. "I love you too," I said back. And I meant it with everything in me. But love doesn't make everything easy. Elena's family found out about us, and they weren't supportive. Her sister called her irresponsible. Her mother said she was embarrassing herself. Even her ex-husband, who had no right to an opinion, reached out to tell her she was being ridiculous. I watched her take hit after hit, and it killed me. "Maybe they're right," she said one night after a particularly brutal phone call with her sister. "Maybe I'm being selfish." How is loving someone selfish? Because I'm holding you back. You should be living your life, not dealing with my mess. You're not a mess. And my life is better with you in it. You don't understand. Then help me understand. I was getting frustrated now, because all I see is someone I love pushing me away because other people can't handle the fact that we're happy. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I'm just so tired of fighting." "Then stop fighting me," I said gently. "Fight with me instead." She looked up, tears streaming down her face. "You really mean that?" "Every word." She collapsed into my arms, and we held each other until the sun came up. Things got better after that. Not easier, but better. Elena started standing up to her family, setting boundaries, choosing herself, choosing us. And I watched her transform. She started painting again, something she'd given up years ago. She laughed more. She stopped apologizing for taking up space. "You did this," she told me one day while showing me her latest painting. "I didn't do anything. You saw me," she said simply. "Really saw me. And that changed everything." We've been together for almost 2 years now. People still stare. Her family still doesn't approve. But we don't care anymore, because what we have is real. It's deep. It's the kind of love that doesn't come around twice. She's teaching me what it means to love someone fully, flaws and all. And I'm showing her that age really is just a number, that she's not too old for anything, that she deserves to be loved exactly as she is. Is it unconventional? Sure. Does it defy what society expects? Absolutely. But that's the point. Real love doesn't fit into neat little boxes. It doesn't ask permission. It just is. Elena is 48. I'm 22. And we're writing our own story, one day at a time. So let me ask you something. Do you believe that age can really stand in the way of true love? Or is love something that transcends all the rules society tries to put on it? I want to know what you think. Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this story touched you in any way, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. I post these real-life love stories every single day. Stories that prove love has no age limit, no boundaries, no expiration date. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for not judging. Thank you for believing that love can find us in the most unexpected places. Until tomorrow, keep believing in love.